I made a couple of JoJo's comparisons during last episode's review, but I didn't expect Rution to act like a stand. This isn't really new information, as mid transformation, the Ultra manifests and visibly protects Yuma, which implies that in these instances, Rution is tangible and has his own autonomy, but for some reason, I did not expect him to do punchy ghost things. Regardless, it is insanely cool, and I kind of wish we got a version of this sooner. By the way, we agree that Shu knows that Yuma is Arc, right? They talk, they argue, and have a heart to heart in such a way that it basically only works with that context and knowledge. It loses too much emotional weight otherwise. With the way that Shu has developed, it would have made narrative sense for him to butt heads with Yuma on this matter, because while Shu has grown more open, Yuma's comparatively started to have a harder time balancing his dual identity. But instead, they kind of do the opposite. Shu ardently respects Yuma's boundaries, so it's very much more that Shu won't push it until Yuma's ready to talk. Their relationship is fundamentally built on that foundation of trust, after all. The tangible threat this episode is the three-horned Tri-Gelos. In comparison to its predecessors Mono-Gelos and D-Gelos, the third in the Gelos line is straight up equipped to deal with whatever Arc can throw at it. It even crucifies the Ultra. Well, they file down on the religious imagery, but it's pretty obviously a callback. The solution to Tri-Gelos' I can counter everything you do shtick is apparently just loading up a blazar cube. And yeah, that actually sort of makes sense, because while Zesu's followers seem to have a handle on Ark's abilities and what permutations he can whip up with them, Blazar's Cube gives the Ultra a whole new power set to play with. Chaining the cube's use off the global defense force helping Ark out of a bind makes for some great thematic cohesion, showcasing that Ark's not alone in this fight in more ways than one. That seems to be the narrative through line of the episode, these connections that have been woven throughout the series finally bearing fruit. Exemplified the most by Rution's allies finally making a breakthrough regarding the whole expanding sun thing. I am also very amused that the first example of another member of Rution's species bears no noticeable visual distinction from Rution himself. Bjorno is another literal being of light, seemingly straight up reusing Rution's assets, making him another Zoffy slash ultraseven superior situation. I hesitate to call this a reference. It could just be them not wanting to put time and budget into a character that'll barely feature.